Welcome to another episode of Drops in the Well. As the Yom Tovim are over and the winter has begun, I want to share with you how I once learned the message of Tishrei and the Yom Tovim on motzei Simchas Torah. On Tishrei, we all strive to reach some measure of connection, to feel the presence of God in our lives. Last year, I felt it the moment after Simchas Torah. So what happened was, everybody had left. The shul was empty. I was going around turning off the lights. I walk into the lobby of the shul. My 4 kids are there, nobody else is there, everybody's gone. And into the shul walks a young Russian Yid. He comes inside. I knew the guy, he was coming to my shul for already a few years. He was putting on tefillin every day. We have a frum shul, so a Russian Yid is something different. So he comes in, hadn't been in for 3 months. And the whole Tishrei, I hadn't seen him, and I didn't call him. And he comes in, he looks around bewildered, and he's like, why is it so quiet here? And I look at him and I say, I'm about to say, because Simchas Torah is over, it's finished. And then I realized he thought it was Simchas Torah now. And it made sense, right? The calendar said Tuesday, Simchas Torah. How's he meant to know that Tuesday means Monday night, not Tuesday night? And I hadn't called him. My gut reaction was to say, listen, my friend, I'm so sorry. Next year, God willing, better luck. But you missed it for this year. But only moments before, in the Farbrengen, the last Farbrengen of Tishrei, of Simchas Torah, I was Farbrengen about the mind of one Yid, how special it is. That living in Flatbush, we don't see how special one Jew is. I was talking to a friend of mine who's a shliach in small town USA. He had summoned in a homeless guy, to do Ne'ilah with, so he needed a 10th man. There he appreciated what one Jew was. But in Brooklyn, there's so many Jews, you never get to think about one Jew. And here I am, and there's one Jew available to me. And then I realized that very year, last year, on Kol Nidre night, I told that famous story, about the Chazan in Frankfurt. That the guy walks into shul, an Israeli guy, he's not wearing a kittel, because he had missed the flight, and he didn't have a kittel in shul. And the Chazan was so incredible, this 1,000 people shul. He goes over to the Chazan afterwards, and he says, how'd you do it? How'd you succeed in inspiring me without a kittel to feel Yom Kippur? And the Chazan told him, he says, a few years ago, motzei Yom Kippur, a Russian Yid walks into shul. And he says, what? I missed Kol Nidre? And he was so upset. And he was about to cry. And I told him, my friend, come, I'll do Kol Nidre for you now. And I got up there and he says, you know what it's like singing Kol Nidre with 1,000 seats in the shul, but only one man in the shul? I couldn't daven to him, I davened to God. It was straight to God. And as a result of that, every year subsequently, I'm able to feel the tefillah to Hashem. And so whenever I daven, I recall that tefillah. And I say, wow, deja vu. Here, Yom Kippur, I have Simchas Torah. And it's much easier, actually, to do a double Simchas Torah than a double Yom Kippur. So I looked at this year, I said, let's go. It's Hakofos. Called my 4 kids in, my daughter and my 3 sons. We went around, we opened up the Oren from the safe. And we opened it up, we took out 2 Sefer Torah, one for me, one for him. He held the Sefer Torah around. He couldn't pronounce the word, so he says, Ato. I said Ato, he repeats Ato. Horeisa, Lodas, Lodas. Ki Hashem hu Elokim, ein oid milvadoi. And we went through the entire Ato Horeisa. I was going to rush it, and I said, no, let's not rush it. Let's do it slowly and meticulously and properly. If we're going to help one Yid, let's do it properly. And we did the Hakofos. We went around, we danced, we did every Hakofos. And properly, my kids are dancing around. My little Dovi says to me, Tati, he says, so we did Hakofos once, twice, 3, 4 times this year. 4 times Hakofos. Third Hakofos comes about. Lo and behold, who would have thunk? I have a good friend who's a lieutenant. That year, he was stationed in North Carolina, helping out with the hurricane efforts over there. But he sprained his ankle. So, unfortunately, another Russian Yid, he missed. He didn't, Tishrei, he was around over there, but I didn't see him. Simchas Torah, he walks into shul. He comes in, he also got the wrong date. And he comes inside, it's a third Hakofos, and he looks around, he sees the 2 of us and my 4 kids. And he's like, something's wrong with this scene. I said, nothing's wrong, my friend. This is Simchas Torah. Let's go. I gave him the Sefer Torah, and he's spraining, with his sprained ankle, he's walking around like limping. And we danced and danced and danced. And we did that Hakofos, and we did Takif lo adat slichana tamim b'maisavanenu v'yoyim karenu. And little Dovi tells me, Taki says, you know, to 7 Hakofos, we usually go out into the street. Let's go. I said, we're going to go crazy if we go out into the street. It's not Simchas Torah, but he insisted. You know what? We went out into the street. We danced the 7 Hakofos in the street. It was great. It was amazing. It was so powerful. We came back into shul. We put the Sefer Torah back. And the lieutenant says, you know, you go on a Simchas Torah without a l'chaim. We have to have a l'chaim. I told my daughter, quickly run home, tell mommy that we have guests for a meal. Explain to her, we're having a meal. She runs home, we come in, we sit down. We were sitting actually in the sukkah, and we sat down to a meal. So we made Havdalah. You know, honestly, the Kiddush and Havdalah, when you don't speak Hebrew, sound exactly the same. There was no candle, so we made Havdalah, and we sat down, we washed, we ate fish, we ate soup, and we had meat and a full meal, the whole thing. And in the middle, my wife comes in, and she took a selfie, and she took a picture of it. So as she does so the lieutenant looks around and he says, but something's wrong over here. If the Rebbetzin is taking a picture, then it cannot be. It's really Simchas Torah. She didn't know what I told them. And I said to him, my dear friend, I must tell you that this is the real Simchas Torah. I said, you know, in 770 now they're dancing. There's Kosher Bracha that would be delivered. The Rebbe would give out Kosher Bracha every year. motzei Simchas Torah, he would stand and give out for hours. That's when the Simchas Torah really is. And I said to my dear friend, to me, this is the greatest moment of Tishrei. You, the two of you, have brought to me the greatest moment of Tishrei. The ability to reach out to another Yid and to experience the power of Tishrei. What's it all about, Simchas Torah? About bringing it into the world.